Who gets a better run off the line here? Chocolate Brewers on the right hand side. Looks like get a bit of a better start, I think. Dan Renz here. Well, into turn one are gonna go now. Let's see where that goes. The Mercedes all the way on the left hand side there. It looks like Chocolate gets away pretty well. The Alfa Romeo of Appentross keeps so close behind. Renz here going through turn one, but I don't see any major contact as they go on through. It's only 9 drivers in this, so we're hoping to have no contact going on through as they get through the S's right now here in sector 1. Seems to be pretty clean going on through so far. We got an overtake, I think, happening at the back there. Fox's J up a few positions already off the start. I think Chartman just got back a position from him, so he's back down to 8. Chartman back into 7 here and going on through out in front for the lead. I think Renz is going for it here as he's right up to the rear of Chocolate Brewers right now. So might try on the inside. No, he takes back the racing line actually. Doesn't want to risk it at this point in the session, as it's only the lap 1 of 14. We still got quite a bit more to go in the sprint race, so he's taking back his position. He's going on through, but Appentross only 3/10 behind of him, so they got to be very, very careful out in front. The top 3 extremely close behind. There goes Appentross. He's up into second place. Around the inside, he goes through on Renz and gets that position up and holds it on through there. Goes almost a bit wide, I think, off getting in the exit of the turn, but I think he holds it through pretty well. We're on with Renz at the moment as he loses another position. Is it, or is someone else just trying to get? Oh, I think that is just Appentross on the left hand inside trying to get around there. He's right up to the rear now, so they're switching back again. There goes Renz, takes back the place into second. They're still side by side going on through this as he gets through the opening lap of the United States Grand Prix here. And looks like it's still going to be a bit of side-by-side action where these two going on through for second place. Who's going to get it through as they come around the final turn? Now head into lap 2 of 14. Chocolate Brewers, of course, fastest lap to him. Renz and Appentross side-by-side into turn 1. We got Archer right up to the rear of the AlphaTauri there at the moment as he's trying to gain a position if he can here. Appentross trying to keep Renz just a bit behind if he can, trying to block off him from the racing line, but see how that's going to be working. We're on a board with Renz right about now through the assist to go once again as Appentross hold on to second place at this point. Chocolate Brewers ahead of them, but just not by much here. He's only about 6 cents ahead, and the gap between Appentross and Renz goes away so quickly as it's now side by side again. And there goes Renz on the inside, takes that position back away again. The Mercedes of Archer coming so close behind here, really trying to gain a position if he can. Going to be a bit difficult still. You got to be so careful with these two as he's up ahead of Appentross now behind Archer. And now goes ahead of Renz here. He's up into second, and both of them go by actually. So Appentross is up ahead. The Mercedes and Appentross side by side, and he goes around the outside. There we got a Williams, I believe that was, of Chocolate Brewers there. So Chuck Brewers, he comes through on the inside. And there goes the McLaren, follow him through. So that Beard is now up another position as well. Renz has lost at least 3 positions, I think it is. And there's a radar carbon fire flying off. I think the McLaren of Beard there, as he battles it with Renz for the position. Chartman trying to get around in the middle of this now. Is let's see how far back is he. He's going to try to get around here in the middle of this. And looks like a McLaren of Beard had a bit of a spin there. Might have had contact with someone. Assuming maybe it was one with Renz, I'm not sure entirely, but we'll get back out in front here. We got Chuck Brewers on the chase right now for the Mercedes of Archer here. A bit of a gap between them. Now starts to form as Chocolate Brewers out in the lead. We're trying to follow on the overtake cam if we can here. So Chocolate Brewers into the lead of the Grand Prix. Holds it on through from lap 1. Archer now up into second place, where he started way down the order on the grid, but those soft tires, of course, working so well for him. Chuck Brewers into third place. Renz is down to 4th. Chartman now running 5th. Appentross now down into 6th. Fox's Day up into 7th. Divine Eye in 8th. And Beard all the way down to 9th. And in the pit lane right about now, getting onto a new set of medium tires, of course, going to be pushing that all the way to the end of the race. Which, of course, is what the strategy is going to be here. See if that was going to work out. Let's go down to Renz here on the move for another overtake right about now, right up to the rear of the Williams of Chuck Brewers. Can he get this move done? As I'm going to go on board with them for just a bit here. See how close he's actually able to get. As we're about to get into sector 3, of course. Not close enough on that particular location to get an overtake done, so he's gonna have to just keep it right there in a P4 for now. Once to get this car back onto a podium place here, started second on the grid here for the sprint race, and he's definitely trying to get back at least 3rd position before finishing the sprint if he can. seems to be a bit of a difficult task at this point here. Just trying. Oh, there goes Chuck Bruvers having a bit of a spin there, and that was, of course, was self-inflicted. I think he just lost the rear of the Williams there, so he had a bit of a spin around, trying to get back going there. Of course, down to 6th on the grid. This puts Renz up, of course, up into third. So SBS Renz running third on the grid again, behind Archer, of course, by 3.9 seconds. We got a bit of a gap between most of our drivers here. Appentross into the pits now. He is, of course, going to be switching on to, I'm assuming, a set of medium tires is what it's going to be to go on to the end of this sprint race here. And let's see what the change of is. Yeah, definitely is going on to a set of mediums now. Going to be getting back out. So it's a one mandatory pit stop here for this sprint race that's been set by, of course, the, let's call it the FIA at this point. Chuckle Bruvers still leading the Grand Prix, of course, out in front on the same tires that he started the Grand Prix on. Archer trying to close the gap. It's a 1.5 second gap. The Mercedes is on the hunt for him, and he seems to be closing in just a bit here right now. Those soft tires definitely helping during this stint here, the opening phase of the United States Grand Prix, and he needs to close that gap as fast as he can towards Chuckle Bruvers here if he wants to stand a chance, of course, of getting past him once they go in for the pit stops, because once they do that, of course, Chuckle Bruvers running a bit of a longer stint here on those mediums. He's not going to be pitting right away. He's going to have to go onto the soft tires to finish off the Grand Prix down at the end of this race session, but let's see how that's going to work for him, because Archer, of course, on the soft already. He's trying to get up close to the gap, trying to get past him is what he needs to be trying to do here before they actually get around to the pit stop rotation for the Mercedes, because he's going to be going to the medium tires. Of course, going to be a bit of a slow strategy in the second portion of this race. Chuckle Bruvers, of course, going to have a bit more pace once he switches on to the soft tires. And let's see how the strategy works. Archer gets the fastest lap there. The soft tires working pretty well. It's down by 2/10. Is trying to keep it under that if he can, but he's losing a bit of time on some portions of this track here and having just a bit of a difficult time trying to keep up. Chartman looks like he's into the pits right now, taking his pit stop as well. Started on the soft tires, so he's going to be running on the mediums for the remainder of the Grand Prix. Most of our drivers have taken stops so far. I think we got Divine Eyes still yet to take a stop, as well as Chuckle Bruvers, Archer, SBS Renz, and Chuck Bruvers here should be taking a pit stop as well. It's a 1.2 second gap right now on board with the Mercedes. Let's see how close this is going to get before he has to take his pit stop here, because we know that pit stop window is approaching for him here. He needs to get off these soft tires, needs to get onto the mediums to go on to the end of the Grand Prix, but how far is he willing to push before taking a stop? Because once he makes that pit stop, it's probably going to be a big game over in terms of getting past Chuckle Bruvers there for the lead of this race, because he's going to be on a bit of slower tires, and once Chuckle does his stop, goes onto the faster tires, has a bit more advantage in terms of keeping ahead of the Mercedes once they finish their pit stops here. Chuck Bruvers a bit further behind from Renz right now. Looks like the gap, of course, now under a second between Chuckle Bruvers and Archer. Archer, of course, on the chase. Can he get this move done? He needs to get it done before the end of lap 7 here, because he needs to get off those soft tires desperately at this point. They're going to start to give at some point in the session, and let's see how much life he has to put them through here, because bit of a, oh, there we go, they're starting to go there. He's just had a bit of a spin. Perfect comeback though, as he gets the car back straight on track again, gets back going, but he loses a lot of time and pace here. Almost lost the position though, because SBS Renz, of course, now running within a second behind of him, within DRS advantage now. This is not good for the Mercedes. He might want to think about taking a pit stop right at the end of this lap here, switching to those mediums and then pushing to the end of the race as much as he can. Let's see if that's going to be the strategy, because SBS Renz, of course, we can see him coming down so close behind. Down the run on this straight right now, he might have the slipstream advantage to get closer to the Mercedes. Can he do it? It's a 5-10 gap, and he's coming down the straight there right now. A bit of a late braking might help into the corner here. Already gained a 10, down by 2/10. He's going to gain at least 3/10 into the exit of that corner, and he's gained about so he's about 3/10 behind the Mercedes now. Let's see, we'll follow over the SBS Renz, see how close he can get before this is done. Chartman there and Beard having a much closer gap as well, running at the back here. Looks like Appentross and Chartman have penalties in this race going so far. We're going to see what the penalties are in just a few laps time. Let's just bit focus a bit on this here. I want to see if Chartman is gonna is he gonna get by? He's gonna get by Beard there. Apparently, they're side by side. There goes the McLaren trying to keep the position, and there goes Archer into the pits as we expected. So he's going to get off the soft tires, get onto set of mediums, and go to the end of the Grand Prix and that. And let's see if he can finish his race in second place, as he was battling it for it before there with Chocolate Brewers. And then, of course, with the Rens trying to hold on to that second place before taking the pit stop, of course, which he did. Beard here holding on to 7th desperately. Chartman within a second of him. And we can see the Aston Martin, of course, coming there. And looks like Aston Martin, of course, will get some decent points here for this session, because with Chuckle leading the race and got Charper running 8, should be able to gain another position if he can. He's going to try it here. Let's see how that's going to go on board with the Aston Martin right about now, as we have a look how close he gets to the McLaren through lap 7 of 14, right, the second half of this race now, to finish off the sprint race. And let's see who's going to be finishing on pole. Of course, it does look like, and there's a bit of going on wide here, so track limits, of course, going to be resulting in some penalties that are not here for that. Of course, we got Choco Brewers has been leading the entire race from lap 1 up to this point. He has to take a pit stop, at which point he will lose the lead of the Grand Prix. That's going to put SBS Renz into the lead if he's still out here. Well, hasn't taken his pit stop as yet. We got Chuck Brewers running third. Archer now has taken his stop. He's running in fourth. Got to look at the gap there. Chuckle Brewers needs to be very careful about when he takes a stop here. But of course, going onto the soft tires, he should have the natural pace on that car with the softs to try and get past the Mercedes if they need be to get back into the lead and of course win the sprint race. It's going to be a bit of a tough call though. Archer of course going to be in ready for that battle. Going to have his tires up to temperature already. Chuck River is going to be getting out on cold tires here, so going to be a bit of an interesting finish to this sprint race to see who's going to be winning. There goes Chartman now having a bit of a spin, tries to get it back going on track here. He does get it back going. Fox is J coming behind of him, of course, so let's see what's going to happen. Chuck Brewers into the pits, I believe here. The Williams is in. He's going to go into the soft tires on lap 8. He's going to take them and go on through. It looks like Chuck Brewers might be going one more lap before doing that pit stop. I'm assuming he's trying to gain as much ground as he can there. It's a 4.8 second gap out in front of Renz. He is right about now 4.9 now. He's still gaining time. He needs to gain as much time as he can, push everything into that car and just use everything that those tires has to offer for the next lap or two if he's going to be pushing them for that amount of time before taking a stop to those soft tires. And of course then he's going to have to work with the soft tires as much as he can all the way down to the end of the Grand Prix. It's going to be a bit of a interesting run to see if he can still win this race, because Archer of course now up into third place in this race. It's about a 21 second gap towards Chuck Brewers, I believe it is. Let's have a look at that actually, if we can. To the leader, it's a 20.9 second gap. What is the time needed here at COTA for a pit stop change, getting back out and holding her position? Because I think it's right around that time, and it's going to be a tough call with Chuckle Brewers here to get into the pit lane, get back out, and still hold the lead. Going to be an interesting one. And there he goes into the pits right now. We're going to switch out in front, see how this is going to play out. There goes the Aston Martin inside. He's going to go into the set of soft tires now, get back out. SBS Renz is in the pit lane as well. That's going to put Archer up into the lead if he can get past both of them. Where is he on track? As he comes around, he is going to run around the final corner right now. Both cars are currently in their pit box, getting those tires changed. It's going to be a close one getting out here, as there goes Chuckle Brewers. He's coming out to the pit lane right about now, and there comes the Mercedes getting around for turn 1. We're going to go on board right now. Let's see where they came out. So Chuckle Brewers came back out into the lead, but there's the Mercedes on well-warmed tires, and he's going to go for the move here, going for the lead right now. Chuckle Brewers under a lot of pressure. Those tires are still a bit cold getting out to the pit lane there, so he has to be so careful not to spin that car. And there goes the Mercedes, going to have an easy run getting around the car, and he doesn't waste any time with this. He's pushing as much as he can to get the overtake done right about now. Doesn't want to wait for those soft tires on the Aston Martin to get warmed up, because he knows he's in trouble once that happens. SBS Renz coming behind of this battle here, 1.8 seconds behind. Of course, going to try to get into the middle of that when he can. Looks like Chuck Brewers holds out in the lead though, but Archer having the slipstream advantage down the DRS straight here. That's going to help him but he doesn't have the DRS advantage. Chocolate Brewer's got the DRS advantage from the battle that they're having coming through to that point in track here, which has helped them hold on to the lead of this race. It's lap 9 of 14, and the Aston Martin is still into the lead of the Grand Prix, holds it on through against the Mercedes of Ultra. He's going to have to really fight on those mediums to make it to the end here, both on different strategies and running. Which one will win this race? It's going to be a tough call, of course. We got to think about penalties here as well, because SBS Renz has a penalty in the session so far. Better pressure, I guess, causing that there, or just exceeding track limits, I'm assuming is what it is. Probably a 3-second penalty. We'll have a look at it in a second, but the Mercedes and the Aston Martin out in front fighting for the race win here. No penalties on either end. If one of them gets a penalty, then it's all over at that point. It's too close to the end of the race to make a big enough gap here, unless somebody makes quite a big mistake at this point. We'll see how that's going to work out. It's a 4-10 gap between the two of them as they still push on through. Chocolate Brewers holding that lead against the Mercedes. So soft tires are now going to be up to temperature as he's finished a lap on them. And he, of course, is going to push to extend his lead now. SBS Renz having a bit of a difficult time keeping up with the Mercedes right now. It's a 1.4 second gap. He's down to 1.2. Let's see if he can break the gap down to under a second, have the DRS advantage, and try to get up into second place. Of course, it's going to be difficult keeping it with a penalty at this point. We're on lap 10 right now of 14. Let's see how the rest of this goes. That is Chuck Brewers getting a penalty there. I thought it was Chucker for a second. So Chartman now gets another penalty. I think I'm getting interesting with the penalty situation out on track. Alright, here we go into the DRS run. Doesn't help out the Mercedes. So he's going to have to hold on to that gap now, which is about 5/10. And then we have SBS Renz trying to close his gap behind. You can see the gap extending just a bit here. We're a bit focused on out in front of this grid for most of this race, but for the given reason that we have here, to see who's going to be winning this race. It's lap 11 of 14 now, as the gap has now extended to about 7/10, back down to 6/10 between the Mercedes and the Aston Martin. This, of course, for the lead of this race. We got SBS Renz coming behind there. He is not within DRS range of that Mercedes as yet, so doesn't have that advantage. It looks like it's Archer getting a purple sector time there in sector 1. So he's trying to gain back some time here. It's down to 2/10. Can he get the move done as we're about to go through next portion of the track here? Let's see if this is going to work out. And here we go, down to TRS portion of the track now. Mercedes has that rear wing open. The Aston Martin not going to have any DRS advantage. He's recharging his batteries right about now. Which way is the Mercedes going to go? Forced around the outside. Might not have been the best chance to get that overtake done. He's going to force it around here. He's going to keep it on the inside to the next turn. Can he get it through? And of course, the Aston Martin going to be fighting it back on every account here. But there goes Archer into the lead of the race. But the Aston Martin is going to be taking it back on the next turn. It's a switch over again. And they're still side by side going on through this. So still a bit of an interesting fight to see who's going to be holding on. 3/1000 of a second that separates these two as they go on through. And looks like the Aston Martin, of course, gets it back again. Chocolate Brewers pushing on those soft tires as much as they can in this race. And there comes SBS Renz right up to the rear of the Mercedes now, as he pushes on to trying to get up into second place. There goes the Mercedes again. He's going to try it on the inside of turn 1. Let's see how that works for him. He gets up into the lead, but of course the Aston Martin has the pace on the soft tires. He's going to push for it to try and get back the overtake once again, going through the S's here. Let's see how this works on through. He has to get his per lap perfect for the next few laps here to finish off the race if he wants to win this race, or he needs to force Chocolate Brewers into getting a penalty. And that might be one of the easiest ways to win this Grand Prix here. So let's see who's going to come out on top for the sprint race here at the United States Grand Prix. So far, Chocolate Brewers has proved he can hold the lead quite well out in front. He's fought for it so much in the race. And now Archer, of course, taking it away. He's pushed quite a lot to get it through, but he's now battling 2 cars to hold on to that lead there, trying to keep both of them out of the slipstream advantage through the DRS range there, and he gets on through quite well through that. Is about 3/10 is when the gap is, though. It's come down as they gain a bit of time down that straight. I think we'll switch it on, of course, to Chuckle here, because we have the AlphaTauri there of SBS Rent. He's pushing through for getting to second place still. Even with that penalty, he's going to push on through in this race as much as he can. Let's see how that's going to work. So Chuckle Brewers and SBS Rent, we know both of them on the soft tires. Let's extend back this to interval time here and see what the gap is right about now. Got some closer gaps on the back as it looks like Appentrox and Beard might be going for a move here. I'll have a look at that as we follow on with the battle out in front here as well. SBS Rents 3/10 behind. Chuckle Rivers Archer holding on to that lead quite well. Almost a bit of a tap there behind the Aston Martin from the AlphaTauri. Looks like Archer is trying to get out of the DRS zone here right about now. He's trying to keep Chuckle Rivers out of DRS advantage if he can. Having a bit of a difficult time doing this as we go on board with the Aston Martin right about now. See how this is going as we're currently lap 13 of 14. It's 1.5 lap more to finish off the United States Grand Prix sprint race. This is how much more time Archer needs to hold on to that lead in order to win this race. He could just do it, but the soft tires on Chuckle Brewers' car are they starting to go already. Has he pushed too much on them for the past few laps that he's been out on them to keep that lead away from Archer, which he now already took away. And we can see Archer, of course, trying to keep him out of the slipstream advantage. He's not close enough to have the advantage. It's still about a 6-10 gap as he gets to the corner, and he has more to worry about with SBS Renz behind of him. But you know SBS Renz will still not be able to keep the position, but I think he's a bit more worried about Archer here at the moment. So let's see if that's going to work for him. Got a bit of a gap between most of the drivers and the rest of the grid there, as we got Beard running in 4th, Appentross running in 5th. I think the two of them were a bit closer on a lap ago. Chartman running 6th, Chuck Brewers in 7th, Fox's J8, and Divine Eye running in 9th on the grid right about now. This, of course, will determine the start of grid order for the main race coming up just after this. And it's a 9-10 gap as we head into the final lap here of the sprint race for the United States Grand Prix. That is Archer leading them into it, 8/10 ahead of Chuckle Brewers, who holds that position away from SBS Renz right now, who's only 4/10 behind. So let's see if they're going to be able to keep their gaps as is going through on this final lap here. And so far, so good for the Mercedes. He's done quite well in terms of keeping that gap where it is. He needs to make sure he doesn't drop below 7/10, and he's got it over a second. So he's really trying to keep Chuckle Brewers out of the DRS advantage. 1.3 seconds now as Chuckle Brewers given up, or has the tires on his car given up here because something's happened. His gap is way over a second. He's on the soft tires. He's not able to push as much as he was on the first few laps when he came out on track here, battling with Archer for that position. Now he seems to be in a bit of trouble trying to keep up with him. We can see the Mercedes pulling away in the distance there. The gap is nowhere near close enough to even have the slipstream advantage work for him here, and he didn't have the DRS advantage down that straight, which didn't help at all because he's still 8/10 behind the Mercedes going on through, who is of course now leading into the final sector here on the final lap of the sprint race, and definitely pushing through for a sprint race win here. And of course, this would be one well fought for pole position if he definitely does get it, which seems to be what the case is going to be, as he now is going to be wrongly about the final corner. We still got SBS Renz trying to fight for a position there, but there comes Archer, started way further down, now crosses the line and wins the United States sprint race here at the moment. We got Chuckle Rivers getting across the line for 2nd place. SBS Renz crosses the line 3rd with a penalty, so he holds on through for that. I forgot the penalties online for you guys there, but Beard there should be able to come across the line in the McLaren and take 4th place in this sprint race here. Appentross with a 3-second penalty, Chartman 6, and Chuck Rivers, 3 seconds, but I don't think it's going to affect them with positions as it is. So Appentross crosses the line for P5. There goes Chartman in the next Aston Martin. He comes around for P6. Chuck Brewers coming around in the Williams right about now should be taking P7 in this race as he now runs about the final corner and gets across the line here. Of course, gotta say that was an interesting sprint race there, and of course crashes the car a bit. Fox is here across for P8, and Divine Eye here coming around the final sector right about now should be pushing it through for P9, and of course I believe that is the starting order that they go into the main race session with. So waiting for him, of course, across the line there. And of course, Archer getting driver of the day as well. Definitely not a bad session for him there. Alright, so let's have a quick look, of course, of the sprint race results before we move on to anything else. Okay, so there we have it, the results here for United States sprint race. Archer, of course, finishing on pole after starting 8 positions down on the grid. Then we got Chuckle Brewers here finishing second on the podium. SBS Rens finishes third on the podium. Beard finishing fourth. Appentrots in fifth. Chartman 6th. Chuck Brewers 7. Foxy J 8 and Divine Eye there in ninth. Looks like SBS Rens got the fastest lap on that one. So definitely not a bad sprint race, of course. And at this, we will have a quick look at the standings as they are at the moment. So here are the constructor standings and the current championship standings for the drivers. We're gonna have a quick look at that if we can before we do move on into the main race session, of course. So as it is, Mercedes, of course, leading the constructors right about now, 202 points. Red Bull behind of them with 182 points. Williams in third, 179. Aston Martin 131. McLaren 131. Got Alfa Romeo 121. Or did I make a mistake with the 131s? I'm not sure. Hopefully I did not. AlphaTauri 55. Ferrari 51. Haas 39. Alpine 24 in 10th. And of course, then we have the Division 1 driver standings here. That's the championship order for the drivers there. Got JM Cool 127 leading the drivers championship right about now. Archer currently second in that order, 117 for him. Chartman third, 99 points. Chuck Brewers 95. Arda there 85. Got West 79. Beard 64. Naismith 57. Swanee 56. Divine Eye 49. Appentrot 44. Lukey 39. SBS Friends 37. Lee Craig 26. Bedevil 24. Jonesy 19. Chuckle Brewers 19. And then I think that's it, of course, for the current standings order as it is there for the drivers championship and the constructors championship at the moment. I think we'll switch it back in a second here. Just I think the guys are sorting everything through in the lobby for the start of the main race, so let's just give them a second to do that. I just think we can switch back to the live stream in the meanwhile. Oh, and thank you to Renz there for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate that very much, mate. Okay, so here we go on with the formation lap, of course, before getting started with our main race session here. Coming off the sprint race results, we got a 28 lap race on our hands here for the United States Grand Prix. Of course, we're gonna have a few things up on before we can have a look at what's actually happening. Let's bring tires on, of course. Alright, so there we have it. So starting on pole is going to be Archer, of course, winner from the sprint race coming off we just did a few minutes ago. Chuckle Brewer starting second on the grid. SBS Renz will be starting on the second row, third. Beard just alongside him there in fourth. Appentrots, of course, starting in fifth. We got Sharpman starting sixth. Chuck Brewer starting seventh. Fox's Day will start eighth. Divine Eye starting ninth. And JM Cool just joining us now. Of course, our Drivers' Championship leader will be starting P10 on the grid. And that is our grid order, of course. Okay, so we can see the tire strategy that they're using. Looks like we got at least two drivers planning to start on the hards, and the rest of the grid, of course, starting on the medium tires. As far as you can see there, that is going to be the order of it. We're going to see how well they get off the line here. Remember, it's uphill battle into turn one, as it was for the sprint race. So it's going to get a bit interesting through that, and then through the SS through sector one, and then getting through the rest of the track, of course. Definitely expecting some more battles between these guys, and the top three there were definitely involved in quite a bit during that sprint race. Let's see if they're going to have a repeat over in the main race session here. On this account, it is going to be Archer and Renz on the same strategy for the start. Chuckle Brewers on a bit of a different strategy here. Let's see if it's going to work out for him. I think it's a bit of this a bit of a similar situation for them between Archer and Chuckle. Coming from the sprint, depending who started on the tires, who was going to go the longest, and who started on the tires to run the shortest stint on the first half of the race, of course. So we'll see how that works out for them, but definitely looking to be an interesting race start here. And as usual, guys, remember, we do have ads running on the channel. Do bear through them. Remember, they only run during qualifying sessions and during safety cars, during the race session, not during the actual race session. I don't think anything's running there. It should be running at the point right now anyway. Should be later on in the session. If you have a safety car or a VSC, that's when we'll have it run through. And of course, you can go completely ad-free by subscribing to us here on Twitch. That does help us out quite a bit as well. What another is Archer doing? I think he's swerving all over the track, trying to get into his grid slot here. Doing quite a few burnouts on the track there as well. Let's bring this over to position changes. You guys are going to have a look at that once we get this race on the way. I'm trying to get a few things sorted here. Alright, so Archer there, we got Chuckle Brewers here, and let's get on board with them. So the Mercedes on the right, we had the Aston Martin on the left, Renz in the AlphaTauri just behind, and of course the McLaren of Beer just behind their Apatros. We can see him as well, and the rest of the grid. They get on through on the start here on the opening lap. The Mercedes gets a brilliant start there as he gets off the line, and looks like a bit. Oh, we got a McLaren into the pit barriers there. I'm not sure what happened on the back of the truck, but Beard is out of this race, and it might already be resulting in a safety car here. So that's a lot of damage that just happened to Beard's car there. I'm trying to have a look what the order is right about now. So of course Archer is going to be able to hold on to the lead there as it is right about now. We got Chuckle Brewers second still, and then SBS Renz still in third. Chuck Brewers gained 3 positions off the start, but something definitely went horribly wrong for Beard there. Not sure if he had contact with someone, what happened on that start. We really didn't catch that in the back there of the stream. We might have to have a look back at that at the end of this to see what exactly happened. But that is a horrible start there from the McLaren of Beard there, out of the race already before the end of lap 1, and it's a virtual safety car, so this is going to be over pretty soon as we have it here right about now. It should be back up and running at least in a few seconds time. So waiting for that to get over with right about now. So that we should be having that all cleared up before we get back around on that portion of the track. It's a 28 lap race. It's only the opening lap of the race, and we already have a bit of chaos happening. Let's get rid of position changes there, put tires on, and leave that for the remainder of the session. We're back racing again. The track is green, and we're going for it. Archer here holding on to the lead, of course, against Chuckle Brewers, of course, coming there in second. Under pressure right now from SBS Renz for the position. Let's see, he's getting a bit unstable there. And there goes the Aston Martin, spun around, and Renz takes over second place in the race. Appentrots is now up to third. Chuck Rivers is running fourth now. Divine Eye in fifth, and Chartman is running in sixth here. Chaos again on the restart from the VSC as we get going here. And this, of course, all happened before they even get across the line into lap 2. So definitely an interesting race that we got on our hands here this evening. Archer is still in the lead here right about now against SBS Renz. 8 tenths behind. He's gaining time and keeping as close as he can here. Once the DRS advantage when that comes to line between the next lap. Appentrott's within a second of Renz as well as Renz falls out of the gap there. Now 2 seconds behind Archer at the moment, as you can see there. So Archer, the Mercedes, leading out in front, trying to create a strong gap and a big lead if he can as he gets on with this race here. Chuck Bruvers though, the Williams is so close behind Appentrott's right about now. Want to see how close this is going to get. He's only less than 2 tenths behind him. He might be trying for an overtake pretty soon in this race. Let's see how that's going to work. Or maybe the gap is wrong here, but he's still not too far off behind as they all race on through. We can see a bit of a even space gap between them. We're going through this race so far. So Archer out in front, of course. Still going to continue on with that lead. As we can see on the map there, he's going to hold true for that. Pit stop strategy, we're looking at either a 1-stop or 2-stop strategy, but the strategy that these guys started with, they might be running just a 1-stop race strategy here for the United States Grand Prix. Trying to either do a medium hard or a hard medium strategy, unless safety car interrupts things here, and they might just switch that around when we come down to the end portion of the race. Divine Eye is out of the race. What's happened to his car? Trying to have a look if we can. Where is his car on track? I think we might have just missed it there. Didn't get it wrong this turn. We can have a look on board with the Aston Martin here, and there's his car at the side of the track there. So not sure what exactly happened to him there. We're back out in front here. I think it's another VSD, is it? Or is it a full safety car on this account here? I think we're looking at a full safety car in this account here. Yep, it is a full safety car. As you can see, the Aston Martin safety car out on track here. And they're all going to line up behind that and follow on through now. So the order as it is, it's Archer leading the Grand Prix, SBS Renz running second, Appentrott's running third, Chuck Bruvers running fourth, Chartman in fifth, AGM Cool there 6, we got Foxy J7, Chuckle Bruvers down to 8 in the pit stops. They can stop there right about now, but I'm not safety car, so he's still able to catch back up to the rest of the grid. And he started on the medium, since he's gonna go into the hard tires and really try to push it all the way to the end of the Grand Prix on this set of tires here. I just hope for the safety car maybe to take another stop in the race. I think it's what he might do. We'll see what the case is gonna be. Either way, we're gonna have to wait for the safety car, of course, to be over before we can get this race back on the way again. So we've had a virtual safety car in the race early on. Had a bit of an issue there with Beard on the start of the race. Something definitely happened. Not sure what. I haven't looked in the Discord chat as yet. Divine Eye is now out of the session, so not sure what he was involved with. But it is now 2 drivers out of the United States Grand Prix. We have 8 drivers currently only remaining. Still a bit of an interesting battle to happen out in front here between the top 3. Appentrott's not involved in this. Of course, Chuck Bruvers behind of that. We'll see how that works out. Chuck Bruvers will try to get back out in front, of course, if he can, once the race gets back started again. Chartman there, of course, really planning to run a long strategy as he started on the hard tires. Let's see for how long he can push on those tires there. Try to get further out in front of the grid. And then, of course, I'll have to go into a set of mediums to finish off the Grand Prix in a second stint that we'll run in this race. Well, guys, looks like we'll get back racing the end of this lap, of course, into the next lap, which will be lap 5. So let's see how the restart after the safety car is going to go, of course. And of course, Archer leading, got SBS friends just behind him. And they're about to get around the final turn right about now. The safety car goes back in. So let's see how this goes after the safety car restart here. As we got SBS friends, of course, chasing them very closely. Appentrott's very close as well. They're also very close with their gaps that they have it. And there goes the Mercedes going for it now into turn 1. SBS friends follows on through. All the top 4 cars running on the same tires. They started the race on the 4 laps done on those mediums. Chartman on his hards. And then JM Cool and Fox and J on the mediums. Chuckle Brewers on new medium tires. Only done 2 laps on them so far. Let's see if he has any sort of advantage on them as he gets on through the safety car restart here. Got a bit of a yellow flag situation there with Fox's J down in sector 1. Something's happened to him at the back. Might have had a bit of spin. Did he? Loses the front wing. I think he did. Did he? I'm not sure. This saw like he was missing part of the front wing. Anyway, he's getting on through. I'm going to go back out in front here and see what's happening with our battle. Appentrott's here trying to close this gap on SBS Rents at the moment. Let's see how that's going to go for him. Got Chuck Brewer, sorry, coming behind. Chartman coming within a second. Can he get an overtake done? Appentrott's definitely looking to get an overtake done. He's going to go side by side with SBS Rents for this one. The Mercedes out in front of the battle here. Let's see how this works out. Looks like Appentrott's is up into second place. SBS Rents down in position. Contact between the 2 cars. They almost led to the Alfa Romeo getting a bit unstable and having a bit of a spin there. And they kept it going. Did someone just go off track though? SBS Rents, no, I thought he went off track there. Took it a bit wide on the turn, but he's back into second place. Appentrott's is back down to third again. It's with a chase on again for second place. Let's see how that's gonna go. Chuck Rivers still in there for P4. JM Cool is up into P5 in this race. I'm gonna follow on through with these guys there. In the Red Bull, we can see him coming down behind. You got Chartman and Chuckle Brewers down in the back. Are they doing a switch with Aston Martin drivers? Let's see what's gonna happen because there's a 210 gap between them as they come on through there. You might think about doing that switch just to see if you can get Chuckle back out in front of the race for the battle again as he's only 10 behind his teammate. And there goes the switch. Chartman lets him go by, I believe he did. Or did he just overtake his teammate? That was Chartman. I think they're fighting for positions at the back here, are they? Let's have a quick look at what's happening with the Aston Martins right about now. Chuckle Brewers trying to get around. There goes Chartman a bit wide on track. And a bit of a spin from Chuckle Brewers there. Unfortunately, he's into the grass. Hasn't damaged the car. He's going to try to get back going. I don't think they're going to be happy about that. That's Martin there on the pit wall. What just happened there between the 2 of them. I think we're expecting Chuckle to get back out to the front, but he's not having the best of races here. Let's see what the rest of the session goes on through though. JM Cool chasing after Appentrott's here, who of course is fighting with Chuck Brewers now because he's down to 4th. So he's fighting with the Williams for the 3rd place position. And he's taking it on the inside. Can he get the position back up here? The Williams comes back at him on the outside. Let's see if it's going to be a switch by switch. We got the Red Bull of JM Cool coming behind these 2 here side by side. Better contact between them. And I think it's led to Appentrott's going back up into 3rd place in the race. The Williams in 4th. The Red Bull in 5th. And that's how they hold it on through going for the moment. Archer still leads the Grand Prix. SBS runs at 1.8 seconds behind Appentrott's 1.6 seconds behind him. JM Cool now up into P4. The Red Bull has gained a position here. He's ahead of Chartman now, who is now ahead of Chuck Brewers, who's down to 6. DRS is, of course, now coming back online in this race here as we go into lap 7 of 28 here for the United States Grand Prix. Archer leads us into this 2 seconds ahead of the SBS Renz. Appentrott's 1.8 seconds down from Renz here at the moment. JM Cool right now on board with him as he chases after Appentrott's there. The Red Bull on from the position for 3rd place. Let's see if he can get it. And looks like he is gaining a bit of time getting through those S's there. Already gained a 10 through that. And looks like he gains another 10th as they get off that there. Appentrott's definitely in some trouble here as the Red Bull is finding pace on track and is catching him very, very quickly. It's going to be a move on the inside here into the next turn. And the Red Bull looks like he's already taken the position back on the racing line. He's up into 3rd place, onto a podium place in this Grand Prix so far. That is GM Cool taking over third place. Appentrotz dropped down to fourth now. He's still on the chase, of course, behind the Red Bull, trying to use a slipstream advantage. He's going to take it around the outside into the next corner. Let's see if that's going to work. Got Sharpman coming behind of them by about 2.4 seconds, so not close enough for getting moved on. There goes Appentrotz, goes wide on track, gets back on track. He's still fighting with the Red Bull for this position here. This might end up leading to a penalty situation, or might lead to one of these guys being out of the race. The Red Bull goes wide around the outside. Almost, I hope they do have a bit of contact getting on through there. Will contact with them, but JM Cool holds the position. P3, Appentrotz fighting desperately to get the position back here, not having it done. He's gonna have to hold on to P4, or at least settle for P4 at this point in the session. Sharpen, of course, P5. Chuck Brewers in P6. And Chocolate Brewers P7, Foxy J in 8. Divine Eye and Beard out to the Grand Prix, of course. Let's see what the rest of the race, of course, continues on through. It looks like Renz, of course, I think out in front, is trying to close the gap against the Mercedes. He's having a bit of a difficult time with this right about now because, I mean, they're on the same set of strategy, definitely running at this point. But for some reason, SBS Renz just doesn't have the pace that the Mercedes has around here. Definitely putting on a good fight though as he's trying to catch up. JM Cool now 4 seconds behind that Alpha Tori there. So let's see if he can catch up, but of course he's still under pressure from Appentrotz here. Still fighting for that position there for P3. As any driver hasn't given it up as yet. He's still going to push on through behind the Red Bull. Let's get on board for a second with Appentrotz here. See how close the battle is between him and the Red Bull driver, JM Cool here, who's now recharging his batteries, so he might have a bit of a chance to get a closer gap here. Needs to just get some better exits off of these turns. And maybe some better entries into them. Might help him gain some time and possibly gain a few more tenths to attempt an overtake on the Red Bull here. Of course, needs to be very careful about where he attempts this because he has to make sure that the Red Bull cannot come back at him after he gets an overtake in. Most important point of all on track here when getting an overtake. So let's see what that's going to go. It's about a 7-10 gap between the two of them. He's within a DRS range, of course, of the Red Bull driver, but just needs to transition that into an overtake. 7-10s, is it good enough to get an overtake done on the upcoming DRS zone here? I don't think it is. He needs to close that gap using the slipstream advantage down to about 2/10 and work with that through on the next upcoming lap. But he needs to keep the gap constant through the whole lap in order to just use the DRS advantage on the upcoming lap after that to try and get it. And it's down to about 9/10 now. So he's lost a bit of time as he gets on through the track here. JM Cool finding a bit of pace, losing a bit of time though to Renz as he's now 4.2 seconds out from the AlphaTauri there. We expected him to gain a bit of time. Maybe just a bit more worried about Appentrotz here at the moment. You see the gap definitely around that 8/10 range there, and really not changing too much around that. SBS Renz out in front is 2.5 seconds away from Archer, who's leading. I think we might have a few things changing once they start to have the pit stops happen. So which we're waiting for right about now to see when they're going to start to do some pit stops here. Of course, it's lap 10 of 28 into the Grand Prix. We still got another 18 plus laps to go before we finish off the United States Grand Prix, and most of them started on the medium tires, of course, which will be running a shorter stint with, then going on to the hard tires, running a much longer stint. Unless they're doing a two-stop strategy, going on to a set of softs and then maybe back to a set of mediums at the end of this. We'll see what the strategy is going to be, but either way, at this point in the session, oh, there we have our first penalty. SBS Renz with a 3-second penalty, which I assume is for exceeding track limits at this point in the race. We're still following on with Appentrotz here, who's now 1.1 seconds behind the Red Bull of JM Cool. Not having the best of luck with that there. He's losing time just a bit each lap. Needs to find a way to gain some time. So we're definitely waiting to see when these pit stops start to happen. I think that's going to be a point where we're going to start to see some different gaps between drivers here, and then start maybe to catch a few more battles happening on track as we go into the second half of the race, of course, which will be approaching in a few laps time. So definitely expecting these guys on the mediums to start taking some pit stops very soon, within the next 4 laps, next 3 to 4 laps it will. Chartman and Apentros switch positions. Something's happened here. GM Cool, of course, into the pits. There goes Apentros into the pits, but he was fighting with Chartman for a position there. So we got 2 pit stops happening already as we head into lap 11 of 28 for the United States Grand Prix. There goes the Red Bull of GM Cool getting out on a set of hard tires, of course, which he's going to push all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. There goes Apentros going through to... who started the party? And there goes Albatross going through to a set of hard tires as well, going on through now. You guys not know to invite me to stuff when I'm streaming? Who invited me to something? I'm trying to figure out who that was. Alright, so who are we following on with? So, with Apentros and GM Cool, both of them taking their pit stops. So, GM Cool, of course, back out on track in P4. Apentros back out on track in P5. Chartman has moved up into P3 in this race. SBS Ren's running second still. Archer still in the lead, waiting to see who's going to be the next driver to take a pit stop here. Oh, and there we go. So Archer and SBS Renz into the pits right now. Both of them going in, our top 2 drivers in this race, going into the pit lane at the same time. And of course, both of them will be changing onto the set of hard tires and then getting back out on track. So let's see how the change in the order is going to be now. That, of course, puts Chartman into the lead of this race. I told him get on a podium position, which he did. Now he needs to keep it, which is going to be a difficult task. He's already done 11 laps on these set of hard tires. He has to do one more stop in this race. Is there any chance that those hard tires are making it to the end of the Grand Prix? I do not think so. That's quite a tough call on that one there. I think I know some drivers who would actually still be able to pull that off. I'm not sure how they do it, but I've seen drivers pull some credible stuff off in races. And yeah, this could be one of them, but it's going to still be a tough call to keep the lead away from everyone else is what the problem is. Finishing on the tires is one story, but actually keeping the lead as he has it there is going to be an entirely different one. So Archer back into second place now as he gets back out from his pit stop. His one and only pit stop which we expect him to do in this race here, unless of course a safety car in another maybe 10 laps time changes things, or 5 to 8 laps or so changes things. They might decide to do something else about that. We'll see if that's going to happen or not. But Archer, 3.7 seconds now behind Chartman, who's leading the Grand Prix. SBS Renz, they're running in third now. Bit of a gap between them as expected here. GM Cool in fourth, Apentros in fifth. Those two already took their pit stops and they're running. So second, third, fourth, and fifth have taken pit stops in the race to finish off their one pit stop strategy, which they're trying to do. Chuck Brewers running 11 laps on those mediums. He is still going to have to take one more pit stop. Chuckle Brewers 9 laps on his mediums. He will have to take one more pit stop as well. Hards Fox's J 6 laps done on them. Can he push all the way to the end of the race? Maybe a chance he could, maybe not. But either way, it's going to be slowed down a bit when he gets for close off to the end of the Grand Prix. A few laps down to go. So we'll see how that works out for him. JM Cool getting the fastest lap there, running P4 at the moment. So I think we've slowed down the race in just a bit here to see how close the gaps are going to get as they continue on through now. And I think they're trying to keep everything constant at where it is. It's a 2.4 second gap with Archer and Chartman right now. Chartman, of course, we know he has to do one more pit stop. When is he going to do it? We're not sure as yet, but it's not going to be right about now because he, of course, has 12 laps done on those hards. So they can push a bit more into this race. at least anywhere between 5 to 8 laps more. I think he's going to be pushing onto them before taking a pit stop here. Might take a pit stop, maybe coming around to lap 20 or lap 21. Maybe going into a set of soft tires and then pushing to the end of the race. I think that's what his expected strategy here is going to be. Let's see if that's going to be the case or not going on through. But Chartman holding a lead for now, 2 seconds ahead of Archer, who's coming behind him on fresh hard tires. Of course, you can see the Mercedes coming there. We can also see the gap starting to drop, already down to 1.6 seconds. And we have now, of course, approached the halfway point of the Grand Prix, lap 14 of 28. Got another 14 laps or so on average to go before we finish off the United States Grand Prix. Gaps, of course, starting to close off as we're sticking on Archer's car here, because this will be the closest gap we have. 1.3 seconds towards, now 1.1 seconds towards, now 1 second, and it's just getting closer and closer every time we say anything about it. Towards Chartman here. Chartman under pressure now of losing the lead of the race, because his tires, I guess, are starting to just give up maybe a little bit there. Chuck Brewer's into the pit lane with his 13 lap low medium tires. He's getting off those right about now. He's definitely getting into a set of mediums to push to the end here, as far as we can see. Here's what's going to happen. Gap, of course, closing down just a bit more. Okay, so here we go. It might be a move for the lead of the race here, happening pretty soon. Archer closes the gap down to 3/10 against Troutman as we head into lap 15 of 28. Behind the Aston Martin, goes side by side with him. Looks like he's gonna get the position up even before they get to the line there, to the turn. Sorry. So back onto the racing line he goes. Archer is clear of Chartman now, and he's up into the lead of this race. Got Chartman still now. He's still running second in the Grand Prix. 14 laps done on those hard tires. Let's see how much more he's going to push on them, as we did give our expectation where he might actually try to do a stop. Maybe around lap 18 to a set of mediums to go to the end of the race. I'm assuming it's either that or lap 21 or so with a set of soft tires at lap 22 to go along to the end. Might be what the expected strategy change will be. We're going to see if that's going to be the order or not, as he continues on through now and losing a bit of time towards Archer there. Of course, Chuck Brewers into the pits. What's happening to him in the pit lane here? His car is ghosted for a second, so I'm not sure what's happening. Did he go into this? No, he's now into the pit lane. He's getting back out. Is he disconnected from the session? Is what I'm trying to see. Okay, back on with this again. I see Chocolate's car still ghosted, so I'm not sure what's happening with his car at the moment. Getting back out in front though, because Archer is still holding on to the lead. Looks like SBS Renz up into second place. GM Cool now running in third. Chartman looks like he's finally took the pit stop that we were expecting him to take. Went into a set of medium tires around lap 17. We'll expect him to do maybe around lap 18 to do that, but yeah, one lap earlier, not too bad with that strategy. And he's gonna go, of course, all the way to the end of the Grand Prix on that. Just with us, I've just missed for a few minutes. I just went away. And Fox's J, let's have a look at him. I haven't looked at him for the entire session. In the next Mercedes here, driving and running P7 behind Chuck Brewers at the moment, who I think is ghosted as well. What on earth is happening with Chuckle and Chuck at the moment? Why are the two of them ghosted? Is there anything in Discord about this? Let me just have a quick look if we can. Nothing in Discord about that. So not sure why the two of them are ghosted here on track. Either I'm going to let that be a no. Let's get back out in front. JM Cole though chases after Renz here at the moment. So SBS Renz under a bit of pressure. As you can see him just in front of the Red Bull right now. It's already a 1.1 second gap as the Red Bull chases down that DRS straight. No DRS advantage, of course, as yet in this session. We're on lap 18 of 28. 10.5 laps, of course, to finish up the United States Grand Prix. And let's see who's going to be winning this one. Archer, of course, looking pretty good and pretty strong in terms of finishing on pole here. Can GM Cool deny him that though? Because he's on a chase right now with SBS Renz to take that second place position away. Then, of course, going to be our 2.5 seconds behind the Mercedes to fight the battle with him towards the finish line. And there's enough laps left, I would say right now, to actually have this done. So on the overhead cam with the Red Bull right about now, 1.1 second gap towards the AlphaTauri in front of him. Let's see how this is going to work out between them. And looks like Renz is keeping the gap a bit constant between him and Archer out in front. They're all running a bit of the same strategy here. I think GM Cool switch on his tires one lap earlier. So I think that's going to affect anything. It could potentially affect something on track here. Fox's J still within a second of Chuck Rivers, who we still expect to see is a bit ghosted on track there for some reason. Chartman down into 5th. Appentross 11 seconds behind GM Cool. So the top 3 on with the battle for the race win here. I think it's a bit what we're going to be focused on going down to the end of this race session. Lap 19 now as we're on it going through. And it's still a 1 second gap now. So GM Cool has gained about a 10th, I'll say, with the battle with him and SBS Renz. And of course, for the lead of this race, 1.2 seconds is going and coming around a few tenths. So he might need some more pace somewhere on track in terms of catching up to the AlphaTauri at the moment. If he can't do this, we'll have to possibly find some sort of advantage on track. They're all running a bit of a similar strategy. I think only thing that's going to be different is their car setups and, of course, the DRS advantage they will get if they're within a second of the car in front of them. Now, the Red Bull stands a pretty good chance of getting into the DRS range here. SBS Renz, though, on the other hand, 2.6 seconds out of range with Archer. Not a good chance of getting the DRS advantage here. So going to have to manage his ERS pretty well in this race to finish the race in second place if he wants to. Now the problem comes here is that SBS Renz has a penalty already, which is going to affect him keeping second place with a gap that he has with GM Cool. And that penalty is a 3-second penalty. Same for Appentross, same for Fox's here at the moment as we all get through the session. Let's leave that offline for the moment, at least as it is. And there goes GM Cool trying to get within a second now of SBS Renz, and he's just done that. Now can he keep that going through to get the DRS advantage? He needs to get through the detection point with that in order for it to work here. Currently out of the DRS advantage and going through the detection point within a second. So does he get the advantage here? Let's have a look and see if that's going to be the case or not as he gets around onto the DRS straight. He does get a DRS advantage as he went through within a second through that detection point. And let's see how close he's going to get towards SBS Renz here down into the corner. Already gained 2 tenths. Might have gained at 3 or 4 tenths on that one there. So about 7 tenths is what the gap is. 6 tenths actually is what it is as he gets on out of it. So keeping that as close as he can now. Needs to do that for a few more laps and possibly will get the overtake on SBS Renz here. Problem is, can he get it done on Archer in time before the race comes off to an end? Because it's already lap 20 of 28 here in the US Grand Prix. And it's getting a bit tight towards the end of this race. We'll see what's going to happen. Chartman there in P5 chasing after Appentross. It's a 5.7 second gap. So doesn't stand the best of chances here in terms of gaining another position. Of course, we know Appentross has a 3-second penalty, so he needs to gain about 2.5 seconds right now in order to get that position away from him. He's on fresher tires, he's on the medium tires, could have the advantage with a strategy here to run that there. GM Cool now half a second behind SBS Renz, who is under a bit of pressure right now, and a lot of problems he's going to be in to try and hold that position. Now let's see how that's going to work through the Red Bull. You can see him closing the gap so quickly here and getting through this portion of the track. He is going to get a DRS advantage again on the upcoming DRS portion of the track. As we go to the detection point with a half a second gap. Let's see how that's going to work out. Has the DRS advantage, of course, as we expect. We can see SBS Renz trying to keep him out of the slipstream advantage. Doesn't seem to work too much as GM Cool closes the gap right now. Not close enough to get the overtake done though. Has to keep behind the AlphaTauri for the moment. But on the upcoming lap, we could see a potential change in position here. He is going to be in the DRS range, of course, again for the next DRS point on track there. That's going to be on the just on the main straight going through. Let's see how this works itself on through, but definitely a fight for second place in the race here. For the lead, not so much, because Archer, of course, extends it up to 3.1 seconds ahead of SBS Renz. GM Cool will have some work to do if he gets his overtake done, and he needs to get his overtake done on this lap here as he closes gap 6 tenths. How close can he get? Let's see what's going to happen. Has the DRS advantage once again into turn 1. Closes the gap just a bit more as he gets around there. I think that was one of the Aston Martins that just got past. It might have been Chocolate Brewers, whose Ghost is still on track. See them going through the S's here. We can see GM Cool gaining time here as he goes on through. For those of us who are not sure where the DRS detection point is, it's that little weird green circle on the track that they are about to go through right about now. That is the detection point for the upcoming DRS zone on track. The other one is before the second to last turn on the track there. That's for the one on the main straight. So they got to be within a second of the car in front of them once they go through that detection point in order to have the DRS advantage on the upcoming zone. Otherwise, it does not work. It's a 3-10 gap down to 2 tenths. We might see a move here. Does he get it done? No, it's so difficult to get his overtake done against SBS Renz as he places the car so well to avoid the Red Bull getting past him. But the gap is so close. Could this potentially happen down this main straight into turn 1? He is desperate to get overtake done right now. He needs to get up in the second place to fight the battle with Archer for the lead of this race, which is just going away from him so quickly. And SBS Renz giving him such a hard time with this overtake, not letting him get past. Even with the penalty that he has, he's going to fight all the way to the end of this race. Going a bit wide there, GM Cool, needs to avoid getting a penalty himself here, otherwise compromises his race. He's within 8 tenths of SBS Renz now. SBS Renz gaining some time on track, so might have found some pace that we didn't even know existed with that car there at the time, but he's gaining a bit of time right now. Got GM Cool, of course, going again, trying to close back the gap as much as he can here. We got Williams between them. Of course, the thing is Chuck Brewers there as they get through the S's here. Always a bit distracting having a ghosted car in front of you. 9 tenths right about now with GM Cool. He's trying to keep his car within the 1 second gap here to have that DRS advantage when they go across the detection point once again. And he does do it. He's going to have the DRS advantage down the straight here on the DRS zone. Does it help though? Tries to get a better exit off the corner there. Not sure how well that works. Does he have the DRS? He does have the DRS advantage. Goes through with it. Trying to close the gap here. We have the AlphaTauri recharging his batteries right about now. Might be a bit low on ERS, not sure. Let's see how this is going to work. Close the gap once again. This is a very difficult overtake for the Red Bull driver to put in right about now on track here. But definitely some good racing on SBS Ren's end here to keep his car in second place all the way down to the end of the race if he can. But it's lap 23 of 28. We're getting so much closer to the end of the Grand Prix. Archer holding it out in front, not too worried about what's happening. These two are battling on behind him for second place, and he's just getting away with the lead here. 3.3 seconds ahead now. The Red Bull sees his pole position chance going away here because he's not able to get past the AlphaTauri in front of him. It's a 6-10 gap down the next DRS straight once again. Has the advantage of DRS, using the slipstream, might be using a bit of ERS there as well. Much closer on this occasion here though. 4/10 is where the gap is as they get through sector 1. Can he get it done on the second DRS zone here on track? Let's see what's going to happen. He closing the gap as much as he can here. I think he has a much better run on this current lap here, but he really needs to get his overtake done. He's slowed him down so much in this race already, and I think his pole position battle is definitely gone for him by now. It'll be interesting to see if he actually can pull that off once he gets ahead of the AlphaTauri here. DRS advantage with a 6-10 gap here. Now let's see how close he's going to get at the end of this. Going down that straight, he tries to close the gap once again. Not close enough to get that overtake done. Definitely not close enough to get that overtake done as we pull on through here. Bit of a 5-10 gap right now. Down to about 4/10. It's going to keep it a bit constant going on through. Got 4.5 laps, I think, remaining here in the Grand Prix. But you see the Red Bull is right up to the rear. There he goes side by side with the AlphaTauri right now. Pushes on through for the overtake on an unexpected point on track here. But GM Cool is up into second place. He's done it. He's gotten the overtake done. Red Bull really didn't expect him to get an overtake done there, but he's gotten it done. And now they go on through here, but I think the AlphaTauri friends might have some DRS advantage coming up on the main straight here. Let's have a look on board if he's going to have the... Yes, he does have the advantage. Let's see how close he gets to the Red Bull though. It's a 6-10 gap going into turn 1 as they go uphill there right now. Always a difficult task as well. The AlphaTauri comes back so close at him. It's a 3.2 second gap towards Archer out in front. Can GM Cool catch up to him in time to get an overtake done with 3.5 laps remaining in the United States Grand Prix? It's such a close call. With that, there needs to get over a second lap here in even team attempt this at this point. I don't think he's able to pull this off. Might be a bit too difficult, a bit too late in this. We need to get an overtake done laps ago in order to attempt to get onto pole position here. And his only chance right now is if Archer, of course, gets a 3-second penalty. He's going to need a 2 or 3 tenths more in terms of the advantage to get onto pole position for the finish. Might be his only chance for it. Trying to have a look with SBS Ren's. Is he catching back up here though to GM Cool is what it is going to be. Which I don't think he is. 3.2 seconds out in front. Archer there leading. And looks like he's just going to continue that lead, of course, as it is there right now. A different tire strategy here might have helped GM Cool, but this is the one he did go with. This is how it's going into the end of the race with him. He's going to have to, of course, defend against SBS Ren's here for the remainder of the race. But even though SBS Ren's has a penalty, he's still going to want to finish second place in this race. We'll see what's going to work for him. Appentrots with a penalty running in 4th. Chartmore with a penalty running in 5th. I'm not sure what the situation is with Chuck and Chuckle Brewers. Fox's J is down to 8 right now on the grid. Has he been overtaken by 2 ghosted cars? He has been overtaken by 2 ghosted cars. So what's happened down in the back there? I think he took another pit stop though, is why he is currently down in that position there. 2.8 seconds is where the gap is now between Archer and JM Cool. Lap 26 or 28. How much closer can he get? It's going back up again. It's going to be a difficult call with this one to see whether the Red Bull can get past the Mercedes. I highly doubt it's going to be the case, but I think he can get close enough, or at least break the gap down by half or what it is right about now in the next 2.5 laps that we have remaining in this race. So a bit of a tough call still with the overtake happening for the lead. But I think it's going to be probably finishing the order in which it is here right now. SBS Res, of course, losing a bit of time right now towards the Red Bull. Expected though, he's been pushing quite a lot on those set of tires that he has on the car there. trying to defend that position for the past quite a few laps, I would say. Just stopping GM Cool from getting by, which of course is now going to help Archer finish on pole here, which seems to be the case, because it doesn't look like GM Cool is going to be able to catch up to him either way here. The pace level here at the United States Grand Prix just a bit even between them. GM Cool 2.8 seconds down from the Mercedes. Not sure how much time he's going to be able to gain here, because we're about to enter into the penultimate lap here. We're about to get into lap 27 of 28 as you get around the final turn there with the Red Bull. Got his pace friends come behind him. It's a 2.7 second gap as they go down through that. He has the Mercedes within view of him right about now. Just still a difficult call in terms of catching up to him and getting that overtake done. Unless Archer makes some sort of mistake here, which we haven't seen him done on track so far. He's done quite well. He's finished on pole on a sprint race. Fought his way up to that position as well to do it. GM Cole, of course, was not in that sprint race. So that is going to be some points lost there. He is, of course, in this race. Was looking to finish on pole, but Archer here looking to extend his championship with the points. Let's see how that's going to actually work out. As it stands right about now, it's CM Cool with 127 points, leading the Drivers' Championship. Archer second on the championship with 117 points. It's only 10 points that separates the two of them. Could this result lead? I'm not sure how much points is given. I haven't checked it in the Discord, but could this actually lead to Archer taking over the championship lead? Because GM Cool did not participate in the sprint race. That I think they said is about 30 points lost, is it? I'm not sure how much was the points given for that. I'm trying to see if you can have a look. In the meanwhile, these two are going at it here. I'm gonna switch it to overhead cam. Trying to see if you can have anything. Let's see, where is it in the Discord? I'm trying to look for it right about now, because I want to know what the points advantage is gonna be here. Or do we have to read all of this now? I don't want to read it. That is a lot to read, Chartman. Yeah, I'm not reading all of that. Alright, so gap is 2.6 seconds. Just going through the points order as it is. So it looks like, where is it? Where'd it go? There you go. So classification point system. So, you gotta finish your race, of course, to get points. Always important part of it. So first, finishing on pole gives you 30 points. Finishing in second place gives you 25 points. So assuming that the same goes for the sprint race and the main race, that's going to be how much? 60 points awarded to Archer here if he finishes on pole here. And then JM Cool, of course, only 25 points awarded to him. That, of course, separates the two of them by quite a bit, and which means assume that's going to lead to Archer taking over the championship lead. Does look like what's going to be happening here, because JM Cool did not participate in the sprint race. He missed that. That's going to be points lost there. So I'm not sure if it's the same amount of points awarded through the sprint race for the league. At least have their own rules with points either way. We'll probably be having a bit of a note from the Chartman about that later on. He'll probably let me know, but either way, I think that's going to be the case there. As there goes Archer, of course, finishes on pole here, wins the United States Grand Prix as he did a sprint race. JM Cool finishing second on the podium. SBS Friends finishes third, and we got Appentrots coming around to finish fourth on the grid here. Get this back on stream. Bit of incident there. Chartman takes over fourth now because a penalty situation there with Appentrots. He's down to fifth. Chuck Brewers in sixth now. He should be coming across for that position. Then we got Chuckle Brewers for seventh. Fox's J for eighth. But Chuck and Chuckle were disconnected from their cars for some reason, so I'm not sure how that works out. They got to finish a race to get points. I don't think those two actually finish a race there, because if they were disconnected, then that's gonna be an issue there. Move Fox's J up 2 positions, of course, and some more points being awarded. JM Cole, of course, getting driver of the day. Started at the back of the grid, finishing second on the podium. Not a bad finish. Almost got onto a podium place there, but still a few seconds away. Needed to get that overtake done with SBS Renz quite a bit early on in the race in order to actually have that happen, or stand a chance to have that happen. Okay, so here we have it. The race results here for the main race for the United States Grand Prix. Archer finishing on pole, winning the race once again as he did with the sprint race. JM Cole finishing second on the podium. Didn't get to compete in the sprint race, which means a loss of points here, and potentially Archer taking over the lead of Drivers' Championship. We'll have a look at that coming next week though. SBS Renz finishing third on the podium. Chartman in fourth. Fastest lap goes to Renz. We got Appentrotz in fifth. Chuck Brewers were disconnected from their car, so I'm not sure how that works out. Might lead to Fox's J moving up to sixth position. Divine Aya and Beard out of the race, unfortunately, and that's the way it went, guys. So I think that's gonna be it for the end of the session. Of course, thank you to everyone who joined us here live for this race session. I really appreciate you guys joining on. Make sure you guys are following us here on Twitch. Please make sure, if you're watching it live or you're watching it back, please make sure you are following us on Twitch. It does help us out, and I think I'll see you guys on the next stream. That should be it there for now. So thank you guys for joining on.